Hi, guys. Well, from beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah, it's Thank God I'm Atheist, the podcast.
I'm Frank Feldman.
And I'm Dan Beecher.
And coming up today, Dan has something that he has to admit, everyone.
Yes. Frank, everyone is... Frank's a perfect human, but I still have flaws and foibles.
No, we're going to have a very interesting discussion, I think, about the Sri Lanka Easter massacre.
Yeah.
The horrible, 300 people? 200 people?
200 people dead, 400 more injured.
Unbelievable. Anyway, the bombings of the Christian church in Sri Lanka on Easter. And
the various churches and
various churches.
Hotels, yeah.
Oh, there were hotels?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know about hotels.
Yeah.
Wow. Much bigger than I even thought it was.
Which is why we should all care, because...
I just heard about the churches.
Right.
But anyway.
If they just stick to the hard religious targets, it would be a lot safer for us atheists out there. That's what I'm saying.
Fair enough, I suppose. Anyway, first, coming up, Dan, a so-called academic, a Kuwaiti academic, went on to television.
People in Kuwait can be academics, Frank.
Well, let me get to what she's claiming to be educated on.
Okay.
She, Dr. Mariam Al-Sohel, went on to the Kuwaiti channel Scope TV.
I watch frequently.
And announced that she has developed a cure for homosexuality.
Oh, thank God. It's a disease we've all been looking to. It affects many homes around the world.
She claims to have qualifications in sex management.
Is that a thing?
I suppose.
I'm a sex manager.
So here she goes.
I'm going to need your TPS reports about your sex for the last week and a half.
Here's what she says. I discovered therapeutic suppositories that curb the sexual urges of boys and the third gender as well as... Oh, I'm sorry. Urges... Okay. That curb the sexual urges of boys of the third gender, as well as the fourth gender, which is butch lesbians.
Oh, okay.
So she's got the full thing.
Yeah. Well, she clearly knows the scientific lingo. So
her theory is that homosexuality is caused by an anal worm that feeds on semen.
Oh my God!
And so these suppositories kill off this anal worm.
There's a worm.
There's a worm that craves semen.
In your butt.
In my butt that craves semen. Needs it. And so it somehow gets me, as any good parasite.
Right.
It gets me to want to feed it. Right? And the best way to feed it is by having anal sex.
Right.
Right.
So explain tops then, madam.
Well, get this.
Okay.
She claims that the treatment works for both gay men and lesbians, but I'm not. It seems like those worms would just starve to death.
It does seem like
of a lesbian.
It does seem like there may have been a few things she hasn't considered about lesbianism,
There's also
including
sort of a chicken and egg sort of problem here.
Right. How do you get? Do we all have the worms? And then, like, some people...
Oh, now that's interesting.
Accidentally, feed the worm.
Once the worm gets a taste for semen...
Oh,
that thing.
It's just insatiable. It just wakes up.
Well,
but that's the question. Like, with a lesbian, it's never tasted semen. Not in the butt, it's not.
Well, she does say that some people... she says that something about attacks, sexual attacks, and that's how this all gets started. She's also basing her whole idea of homosexuality is that somehow in the person's past they were sexually abused or raped or something along those lines.
Waking up the worms. Thereby waking the worms and causing all of these problems.
You do not want to wake the worms. She says, by the way, this is all science, so there's nothing to be ashamed of. Of course not. It's prophetic medicine. it's all in the books.
Oh, well.
I don't know what book she's reading. She's reading some nasty, nasty books. This lady.
Well, it is science, Frank. It's probably beyond us. We wouldn't understand.
Yeah, she also understands that that gay men should. One of the best treatments is also a balanced diet of foods that increase their masculinity and build muscle.
Oh, she has not met the gay men that I have met, because most of my gay friends got all the muscle.
Any food that is buried underground provides men with stability, strengthens their muscles, and increases their masculinity.
It's all peanuts and potatoes for you, buddy.
Oh my God, I love peanuts and potatoes.
And then you shall have masculinity just flowing through you.
All the time.
Oh, wait. Maybe that's what we're trying to avoid.
She wants to avoid the masculinity.
Masculinity flowing through you.
Yeah.
Because it feeds the worms.
Causes homosexuality. Insatiable.
Yeah.
Insatiable homosexuality.
There you go.
Good Lord.
Feed the worms. Tuppence a bag. Okay. That's delightful and horrifying.
Yeah.
But
and so here's the thing. Like, you read a story like that.
You said she was Afghani?
Kuwaiti.
Kuwaiti, okay.
You read that kind of story. You come across that story, right?
Yeah.
And you go, there's no way this is real. Right? There's no way that this is for real.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen.
As soon as I came across the word butch lesbian.
Right.
And it was quoted to her, I was like, no. Yeah.
Frank came into my house and said, I have to do some more fact checking because I've got a story. It can't be real. Yeah. Apparently it is. There you go. Kuwait. There will be no more gay people once the worms are eliminated. That's good. Oh, God. Well, back here stateside, I've got an Easter story from...
Easter. I love Easter so much.
From San Diego. It's not where we expect to hear some of these stories. But there you go. San Diego. A woman went into the Claremont Church during an Easter service and apparently pulled out a handgun. She was holding her baby, I think a 10-month-old baby.
Oh.
And pulled out a handgun and started threatening everybody.
Oh, my God.
It all started when apparently she sent an email to her she used to be apparently an intern at the NBC affiliate in San Diego. So she sent them an email that said something along the lines of a woman is going to go and threaten this here, I'll just read the message. There's a woman claiming to be the Messiah, saying she was sent to blow up the foundation of the church. She's got a gun and a child is involved. So
wow.
They received this email before this happened, but just minutes before it happened. Then apparently she went in and was threatening people. She was eventually subdued by congregants. But like waving the gun around at everybody, pointing the gun at herself, at her baby.
Oh, God.
So, this is obviously, this has to be some mental illness here.
Absolutely.
But it's like, here's the problem. To me, yes, mental illness is a thing that you can't lay at the feet of religion. But religion feeds mental illness in a very specific way.
Yeah.
And like, it gives them this, when you tell stories of a Messiah, when you tell stories of prophecy, it feeds mental illness a very specific set of data points that I think can be used badly. So there you go. This woman, 31-year-old Anna Conkey, former naval person.
Oh my God.
A veteran.
Oh God, poor dear.
Yeah.
Then this was Easter, you say?
Yep.
Yeah. There's a very religious guy at work, older guy at work, who I was just being polite. And I was like, how'd your Easter? How was your Easter? And he's like, it was all right. I'm like, oh? He goes, and then he says a few things, tells me a little bit about it. And then he goes, but a friend gave me a big chocolate cross. I just kind of look at him, and I'm like, was it delicious? And he just didn't even get that I was just like completely just like, I don't know what to say to that. And he goes, oh no, it was good. It was good chocolate. Glad you got to eat a chocolate cross.
Yeah,
that's wonderful.
You know, the murder weapon of your Christ can be delicious if it's done correctly.
Anyway,
I did have an Easter experience.
Oh, did you?
With Mark and Doug in Cincinnati. We were there for the American Atheist Festival convention.
Should be a festival.
And we were at Starbucks getting a coffee, and we had our lanyards that say American Atheists on them around our necks.
Right.
And Mark caught a couple just eyeballing us the entire time we were in there.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't see it. But as they left the building, they were like, Happy Easter! To which we just happily replied, Happy Easter! Same to you. And then they left. But it was just like the most passive-aggressive thing that I've ever seen in my life. Stupid. You guys are idiots.
Yeah, anyway. Well, not specifically Easter, but the season of Easter.
Sure.
This next story happened this just most recent Good Friday, where an old ritual has been resurrected, so to speak, in the town of, or city, I'm not sure, of Pruchnik in southeastern Poland.
Oh.
Oh boy. This ritual includes, or involves, I guess I should say, a effigy of Judas.
Oh,
that
interesting.
Has been built out, and traditionally is always built, it's this big giant effigy, like a caricature Orthodox Jew.
Oh my God.
It's got a big
course.
red nose.
Oh my God.
Let's see,
God.
what were some of the other details? A black hat, Orthodox style ringlets.
God.
Traditional dress, etc. Right?
Wow.
So, but it's so much fun.
Yeah.
The locals have so much fun with this, Dan.
That
the
time
kids,
when we burn Five-ish Finkel in effigy is.
Yeah. The children crowd around the effigy and beat it with sticks. Right. While adults drag it through the streets.
Oh my God.
It's so much fun. And then it ends up getting hung up in a town square.
Right.
Where I would assume people continue to mock it and
probably
throw things at it and spit at it.
When do you
whatever.
beat it until the candy falls out?
Oh God. It's terrible. Anyway,
it's like a Borat routine. But
it is.
But it's real life.
Exactly. Yeah. The fact that it's an effigy of Judas just seems like it's an excuse.
Yeah.
It gives them like you could do, I mean, I guess if you really wanted to have an effigy of Judas, as long as it was not a stereotypical Jew, right? That sort of nasty stereotypical Jew
Except
image.
that, guess what, guys? Judas was one of the apostles.
Yeah, but he betrayed Jesus.
Yeah. He was still one of the apostles.
Right.
Also, guess who else is Jewish? Poland. You know that Jesus guy that you like so much? Guess who else? It was Jewish. Yeah. That guy.
Yep.
Although that's so much more fun than some of the, we've reported on it before, but I kept seeing, I decided not to do this as a story, but I kept seeing things come up on my feed about in the Philippines, they're still nailing themselves to crosses in real life, actually piercing their own hands.
Yeah.
They're standing on a platform, but they're still piercing their hands. And
yeah.
In Mexico, there was a thing where people are seriously injuring themselves for Jesus. So, if it's just hateful, against a fake Jew, that's so much better.
No, Dan. The World Jewish Congress has obviously voiced their outrage. Because this was something that had gone away, right? People have been posting pictures apparently online of this same ritual pre-World War II.
Sure.
Right. But essentially what this is pointing out, this hasn't happened in a long time.
Oh, okay. They've revitalized this.
That's resurrected.
Oh God. I see what you did there.
Yeah. But anyway, this is what the WJC had to say. Jews are deeply disturbed by this ghastly revival of medieval anti-Semitism that led to unimaginable violence and suffering. Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah,
just wretched.
Well,
wretched
it's not like anything horrible happened to Jews in Poland anytime in the last 100 years.
There you go.
Anyway, wow, that's the thing. I'm gonna take us to the court system here in these United States, where a lawsuit continues apace through our justice system, or soon to be called lack of justice system. The start of this case is that Dan Barker, who is who works for the Freedom from Religion Foundation, filed to do a invocation in the U.S. House of Representatives, not in a state house.
Oh, the actual,
but in the U.S.
Congress.
In Congress.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, there's a lot of competition to get there. It's not an easy thing to do.
Right.
But his rep from Wisconsin, Rep. Mark Pecan. Anyway, he sponsored him, and so it went forward to the House chaplain, who is a Christian minister.
Okay.
Who was supposed to review it. He asked for Dan Barker's credentials, which he actually has ministerial credentials because he used to be a minister before he became an atheist. So
Gotcha.
He presented those,
okay,
but then also presented the text that he would use for his invocation, which was secular.
Okay. So
nothing attacking anything.
Right.
We leave that to the Christians who regularly attack atheists in their invocations in public sphere. But yeah, he wasn't attacking anyone. He just wanted to do it. In the history of this stuff, the invocations since the year 2000 have been 96%, or rather 97% Christian, 2.7% Jewish, and less than 1% anything else.
Jesus Christ.
With secular invocations coming in at the big goose egg. 0. So he went in knowing also that in the Supreme Court's 2014 Greece versus Galloway decision, the justices said that invocations, if they're adopted at all, and this was about a local government thing, must include people of all religious backgrounds, including people without religion. But they lost at the Barker et al. Lost at the court level. They just went to appeals, and they just lost at appeal. For different reasons, though.
Okay.
The appeals court has decided that Barker was he was excluded because he was an atheist.
Okay.
But that he's not entitled to be for them to force Congress to let him do that, because the House has every right to decide that invocations have to be religious.
Oh, wow.
They don't have the right to decide that, they have to be Christian, but apparently they have every right to make the rules that they want to, because they're big and important, and they don't definitely have to serve all of their constituents.
Well, then let's get the invocations out.
I would love that. We've already get
them out.
But they've already decided that that they're legal. They just have to include everybody, but now they don't have to include everybody. So,
well, I say it's time to throw it out.
Well, that would be great. You just make that happen then. Anyway,
run up another case.
It continues.
Sue again.
They're going with this court. Good luck. Anyway, this will be going to the Supreme Court. We'll see from there what happens.
Oh, my God. All right. Okay, Dan. We spoke about this last week on the show, I believe.
Okay.
The Notre Dame.
Yes.
The
cathedral.
The cathedral in Paris that burned.
Yes.
Could have burned all the way to the ground. It didn't. But, they're going to be rebuilding and blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
Well, there's a rabbi by the name of Daniel Lapin.
Okay.
He's a very conservative fellow with a podcast.
I hate those guys.
How dare they? How dare they just start a podcast?
Yeah, right?
That's what we do, Dan.
What are your qualifications, sir? Oh, better than mine? Oh,
well, he has a theory about why Notre Dame burned.
Oh God. This will not go well.
He goes back and tells a story from the year 1214.
Okay.
When the Jewish faith was basically put on trial in France. It's called the Disputation of Paris, where rabbis were tasked with providing evidence, right, that the Talmud does not contain blasphemous attacks on Christianity. The rabbis failed to convince their Christian prosecutors, and so, as a result of that, thousands of Jewish texts were confiscated and burned in the streets outside of Notre Dame.
Okay.
So, in response to that, Meyer of Rothenburg, a rabbi, who he was there. He saw the destruction of all these texts.
Right.
He wrote a poem of lamentation. Okay,
like you do.
Which, according to Lapin, maybe, I don't know. He prophesied that the Christians responsible for burning these Jewish books would one day suffer divine retribution. All right.
Okay.
So this is Lapin speaking. It was written specifically in reaction to his witnessing the burning of these Jewish manuscripts. This is all mysterious, prophetic stuff. Let us therefore take comfort that you, O God, always pay your debt, said Lapin, reading from the poem. And you pay them with flame and fire. I tell the book burners that your end will be burning fire in your own places. Right? And so Le Pen continues, a prophecy to the fire that inflicted so much damage on Notre Dame, on the Notre Dame Cathedral, in front of which more than 20 wagon loads of Jewish manuscripts were burned back in 1242. Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Sounds like divine retribution.
Yeah, I mean,
took God a while.
Look, God works in God time, and God time is definitely not our time, because yeah, I mean, Jesus was going to come back in this generation, and this generation has proved to be 2,000 years old,
and clearly, those same people are the ones who were met with fire, right? The same sentiment to the same, like, I mean, come on, man.
Yeah. That's delightful.
Fuck off.
Yeah, you burn our books. You wait a few hundred years, buddy.
Yeah. God'll get you.
Yeah.
Sooner or later.
God'll get you. I mean, it may take a millennium, but he's going to slightly fuck over your building.
Yeah.
So take that.
Yeah.
Boom.
Done.
Speaking of boom, I'm going to take us to Oklahoma.
Ooh. Why boom? Boomer Sooners?
Yes. No. Oktaha, Oklahoma.
Oktaha.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I believe you.
Uh-huh.
Is where there was I think we reported on this. I don't remember. But there was a gun shop that had a sign that said, "No Muslims."
Okay.
Which isn't okay.
Okay.
You're not allowed to do that. So the ACLU and a few places, there was a lawsuit that was filed. The plaintiff of the lawsuit was a guy named Rajai Fataha, who is a former veteran. He's a veteran, but he's also a Muslim. Oh. And he went in and here's what's great. If you hear the side of the gun store's side of the story, he went in armed to the teeth, which how else do you go into a gun range? Like if you're going to a shooting range, are you not supposed to bring your guns? Anyway, this guy went in armed to the teeth, and when they found out that he was a Muslim, they apparently drew their handguns and yelled at him and asked him if he was there to do a fatwa on them or some jihad sort of thing. And eventually they kicked him out of the place.
You're kidding. Is this a jihad?
Right. Yeah,
Is this a jihad? Just tell us right now.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, he apparently, when they found out he had ties to CAIR, that's CAIR, which is the Council on American Islamic Relations. They just that's what they say. They say it's when they found out he had ties to CAIR. Yeah, which, by the way, CAIR is not a terrorist group. CAIR is a political action group trying to fight for Muslim rights.
I don't know, Dan. That's what they want you to believe.
Right. Yeah. Right. So he says that as soon as I identified myself as Muslim, things took a frightening turn. The owners of the range grabbed their handguns and demanded to know whether I was there to commit an act of violence or as part of a jihad. So
he's like, are my hands up in the air? Am I yelling Allah Akbar?
Right, exactly.
I mean, I've seen that Claire Danes show. Right. I know how this all works.
You know how this works.
I know how it works.
Anyway, so they filed a lawsuit to remove the sign. Well, the business has now finally taken the sign down. Now,
but they're still not allowed.
Well, now here's what they're saying.
They better know better.
This privately owned business is a terrorist-free establishment. We reserve the right to refuse service to anyone for safety. And they've got a list of terrorist organizations.
Is CAIR on the list?
CAIR is definitely on the list.
Oh, man. These guys learn nothing.
Except that, so I am minorly impressed by a few things. So, of course, it starts out with Al-Qaeda, Antifa, CAIR, Hamas, Hezbollah, HLF, LAP, IAP, I can't, ISIS. And then, but it does get to KKK.
Oh.
Then Muslim Brotherhood, then neo-Nazis, then Taliban, then white supremacists. So in Oklahoma, rejecting white supremacists, KKK, I mean, it may be a nod and a wink. I don't know that. Like, they all may know, just kidding, for those ones. But they're on there. It says that.
I mean, I would assume they're being sincere in their list of terrorist groups.
Right.
I'm gonna accept that part of this story.
Sure.
They just haven't learned a good goddamn thing.
No,
over there in Oktaha.
And it was kind of amazing that they
Oktaha is like a little tiny blip on the map.
Sure. Yeah. So anyway, they took down the sign and replaced it with a more differenter sign. Progress being made around the world, everybody. Well, if you have anything you'd like to say to us, wing us an email. podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or call and leave us a voicemail message. Telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist, and you can click that like button.
And while you're there, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge. Request to join. It is a closed group, but we'll let you in.
Digital drinks are on us.
Dan.
Oh, yes.
I am such a fan of Lou Dobbs. I'm so glad that we're going to be playing this clip.
I want to know who does his hair. His hair is of a color unknown to nature, and yet reminiscent of natural hair color.
Yeah, that's. I'm sure he pays for something nicer than Just for Men.
Yeah,
but it ain't that much nicer.
No.
But anyway,
just for Lou. He gets just for Lou.
Leave some gray in, Lou.
Yeah,
that's how you make it convincing.
We understand that you're old. You don't have to. You're not fooling us.
Yeah, just have less gray. Shoot for 40, Lou. Shoot for 40. Don't shoot for 25.
Right?
You're not fooling anyone. You wouldn't fool anybody at 40. But anyway, all right. Who's his guest? Jeffries?
Robert Jeffress, who was he's a rising star of the right wing Christian. He's a pastor. He's got President Trump's ear.
Oh,
he's a Texan, and he is a smug little shit. Let me tell you.
And so, fill us in, Dan. What is he going to be?
Well, they're going to be talking about the thing that I was talking about the appeals court decision on the prayer in the House of Representatives.
Yeah,
and they have their own take on it. We were wrong, Frank.
So all right. Let's hear how we were wrong.
Yeah.
And a D.C. federal appellate court has ruled that the House chaplain can bar what is called secular prayer. House chaplain Father Patrick Conroy recently turned down a request by an atheist who wanted to lead Congress in secular prayer. The federal court ruled that the House can require all prayers be religious. Well, joining us tonight, Robert Jeffress, member of the White House Faith Initiative, pastor of the First Baptist Church of Dallas, and Fox Business contributor. Pastor, great to have you with us. It's amazing to hear a court support effectively a religious faith in our Congress.
Well, that's right, Lou. And look, I have prayed myself in the House. Father Conroy invited me to come, along with Louis Gomer, to come and pray one time. And when I prayed to the God of the Bible through his Son, Jesus Christ. I believe he's the true God. I believe other faiths ought to be able to pray as well in the House chambers. But what is not right is to have an atheist offer a, quote, secular prayer. A secular prayer is an oxymoron, kind of like a diet cheeseburger. They don't exist. And the court was right in saying you have to have a divine being to pray to. And look, this Freedom from Religion Foundation that's bringing this is a left-wing, radical, godless organization that's trying to force this. Their specialty, Lou, is suing towns and school districts for mentioning God in a prayer or singing about God in a Christmas carol. They are low life.
Why are atheists so intent on destroying any reference or practice of faith? If they don't believe in God, why isn't that in itself sufficient for them?
Well, I think deep down they do believe in God. The Bible says in the Psalms, the fool, literally the moron, has said in his heart, there is no God. You have to be a moron to look around and say all of this happened by chance. But they don't want to acknowledge God, Lou, because if they do, they know that means they have to submit their lives to him, and they're unwilling to do that.
But then they go beyond that and want to destroy others' faith and to eliminate their right to practice their faith.
That's right. And the reason is anytime they hear God, for me or for you, they're convicted in their heart about it, and they hate that conviction. They think they can silence the mention of God. But every time you look into the sky and see the sun, that's a reminder that there is a God.
It's a reminder about fusion.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so funny to me that at very least, a good journalist like Lou Dobbs knows that if you want to know the answer to the question, why are atheists doing this, the person to ask is a Christian pastor.
Who you have on your show that is called Fox Business.
Right. Is that...
with Lou Dobbs?
Well, I don't know.
Or is it?
But
that's the channel,
or
maybe it's
or
Fox Business Channel.
Yeah.
But what the fuck?
Just
why?
Just so much wrong with that clip. I don't even know where to begin. The fact that they're not answering the question, that they're not actually asking a question that's related to the story that they just told.
Yeah.
Like, in what part of that story was an atheist trying to ruin anything that Christians were doing?
Inclusion is far different than trying to take something away.
Asking to be allowed to participate isn't the same as, hey, may I destroy?
Right.
It's just, hey, well, can you share do you want to share your sandbox?
Well, I just love the fact that these like Jeffress here, right?
Yeah.
He's like, we're fine with people of other faiths, you know, praying.
Right.
Because it's to a supreme being. But it's not to your supreme being.
And they're not fine with it. That's a fucking lie.
Right.
You know you're not fine with it. As soon as you're done with the atheists, if you won the battle of the atheists,
then you would be keeping the Hindus out.
You would be working to make sure the Muslims can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
I mean, but I love that he says it, because it's, why would you be fine with that?
Yeah.
Why would you be fine with somebody, with some pagan or whatever, going in there? That's horrible.
Yeah, it's time to send in Lucian Greaves and the Satanic Temple.
Absolutely, it's
because
time.
Your claim is that you're fine with it if it's an opposing, as long as the religion. Of course, Lucian claims to be an atheist too, so it's time to send in someone who actually believes in Satan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because fuck you. All right. We did have some folks write into us, etc. So I'm going, and we had someone call in. For a minute there, I thought we had nobody writing into us. It turns out there was a problem with the email.
With your email.
So we're sorting that out. I love everything. You're just throwing me under every bus you can find this whole episode.
I threw your email under the bus, not you, Dan.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, there's a... As long as no mud splashes up on you, everything's going to be
whatever.
So we do have some emails though. Hey Frank and Dan, my name is Alyssa, and I just got to say I love your show. Been listening since I realized I was atheist a few months back. I still live with my painfully Catholic family, so of course I'm closeted and forced to keep up a pious facade. Today at Mass, the homily was about how lucky we all are to believe in heaven, because all these Muslims and Jews and Buddhists and heathens all lead worthless lives. After 60 years of living, that's it? That's all they got? Poor bastards think they lack faith. I feel so rebellious listening to your podcast. It's so damn liberating. Like, I find it so crazy how I can listen to you guys as I'm walking the death walk to Mass, and it's just wow. I'm so glad to have found you guys. I feel less alone.
Oh, I love that.
Well, Alyssa, I'm glad you don't feel alone.
Yeah.
Yes, you're not alone. In point of fact, there's a lot of us.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we're not always. We don't wear any specific clothing or anything, so we can be difficult to find.
Right.
Hell, I promise you, in that Mass with you, there are other atheists suffering through it. Right in the same room. But yes, there you go. Greetings and salutations, Frank and Dan. In a recent episode, you asked about different families' Easter traditions. My family hosts a couple of non-secular Easter events, and one event is tailored to adults. Every Easter, my stepbrother hosts a beer hunt. Everyone has a 6-pack basket, and we hunt down beers that have been hidden. There's a golden beer, and whoever finds it gets gets a $100 Amazon gift card.
Wow.
It is by far the most fun holidays I have with my family. Perhaps this will give others ideas of what to do.
Where is this? I want to go next year.
Right? Invite us, Wes. We want to be on the beer hunt.
Yeah, I want a $100 gift card to Amazon.
I'd settle for the beer. If it's
I'm finding that golden beer.
Yeah, okay.
That's mine. I'm a little competitive, Dan.
You are. You can be, for sure. But I think that's delightful. That's really fun.
Yeah. Well, I have a voicemail.
Yeah.
Somebody who's calling
about the same
in
thing.
Response on the same question.
Great.
Hi, this is Jessica. You asked us what our not so common Easter traditions were. I was raised as an atheist. So born and bred. The rest of my family was Mormon, so we avoided them. But what my dad did is that on every Easter, he would get a great big bucket of boiling hot water. He would give everybody knee pads and toothbrushes, and then he would add bleach to that boiling water, and then we'd scrub the whole house, all the grout, with toothbrushes. That was our Easter tradition every year because we couldn't go anywhere else. Love you guys. Bye.
Oh, what a way to make you hate Easter.
I know, right? Wow. I mean, this is why Christians don't have tile floors. Because they don't have the Easter to do the grout cleaning.
No, absolutely. Why?
Wow. Hey, everybody. I've got a fun family activity.
I'm going to get buckets of hot water.
For Christmas, we're all going to dust the high things. Oh, my goodness. Well, that's that's less fun. But there you go. At least the floors look good now.
Yeah. I hope you've kept it up.
Yes, I hope your Easter knee pads are. Do you get new knee pads every Easter, or just?
Oh, it's a special Easter gift.
Like not unlike
your
the
Easter knee pads,
like pajamas at Christmas.
They're pastel
knee pads.
Pastel.
That's
knee
right.
pads.
That's right. What you want is a nice pastel
with bows.
So cute.
With cute little ribbon bows.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. One last email. Hello, Frank and Dan. I'm writing to you from Sweden. You know, the country where Jesus is queer and Joseph is transvestite. I have 2 children, a boy of 4 and a little girl who is turning 8 months. For a while now, I have been contemplating how to position myself on the whole climate change issue. I'm pragmatic, and I'm convinced that the human race will delete itself at some point in time. I used to think that we would kill the planet, and I used to think that we will kill the planet and that would be the reason for our extinction. But now I'm leaning towards the idea that the planet will prevail, but not us. Climate change is a fact, a scientific fact, and it doesn't really matter what has caused climate change, but we can see that it has a negative effect on the planet. So there is an incentive to try and counteract this change. But here's the core of my dilemma. I want my kids to have a decent planet to live on. I also wish the same for my grandchildren. Maybe even for their children. But then what? To be completely honest, I will be dead after that generation. I will not know those people. I will be lying in my grave. I will not be lying in my grave feeling remorse for not having traveled by train more than by plane. I will not be here to witness when the planet becomes habitable. Uninhabitable, I think is what we were going for. I can't do words.
Okay.
That is not a Swedish problem. That is a me problem. Anyway, so should I care? Thanks for doing a great show.
Wow.
That's beyond pragmatic to me. That is, I don't know, cynical?
Yeah. Pretty much.
That's pretty rough, man.
Yeah.
I think for my money, you got to look, if you're going to care about your kids and your children's children,
yeah,
you just got to keep on caring.
Yeah.
You have to care about the whole goddamn thing.
Pay it forward, man.
Yeah.
You know?
It's not, look, I get it. Human beings might stop existing, and to me, I'm fine with that idea.
Yeah. And yeah, maybe you're not going to get anything directly in return for taking the train more.
Right.
Right.
But find ways that, I mean, but you can't, it's a convenient out to say, well, probably the people this will affect the most, I won't know.
Yeah.
I just can't get on that train. Maybe I'm a humanist. I don't claim that word, but like,
yeah.
We should look out for each other.
Absolutely.
Like, I'll never meet anybody in Afghanistan or whatever, but I still oppose the war. You know what I mean? I still oppose Americans like wrecking that country.
Right.
And I still work toward that being done with.
Well, I mean, even closer home to that, you pay taxes to, make sure that the whole country is educated, to make sure that,
right.
That people that you don't know are being taken care of.
Yeah.
Right. Like this is something that we do, just as being part of humanity.
Yeah.
And
I think, yeah, you have to care.
you have to care.
You have to care. Sorry.
I don't know. I feel like maybe he is also just kind of posing a question but
Yeah, I mean, we'll call it philosophical in nature. But I think in the end, if you care about your kids and your grandkids, you got to care about the rest of them too.
you have to care about their kids and grandkids.
Right. And you've got to care about your neighbor's kids and grandkids. And you just kind of have to look, if you're going to care about humanity, you can't just pick the ones that you want. You got to care about humanity.
Well, all right.
Okay.
Is that it for emails?
That's it.
All right. Well, Dan, we've
Yes.
had a change.
Uh-oh.
Things have changed.
The stars have realigned.
They have realigned. As most of you probably know at this point, we've been running a campaign on Patreon.
Yes.
To help pay for the show and support the show.
To really just pay for the show.
Keep it going.
Yeah.
And so last week we sort of called out to our lords and saviors, and we said, because we've had this tie for first place, and we were like, any one of you could just like be the only one.
Uh-huh.
You could be the winner.
Yeah.
Right? And so somebody listened and somebody heard that message.
They heeded the call.
They heeded the call, and now our new Lord and Savior, our top donor, D
wins.
D reigns supreme. And D went for it.
Yeah, okay.
D did not just
So she didn't want
incrementally.
She didn't want any of her lords and saviors taking it from her.
And I've for whatever reason have also always assumed that D is a woman.
Yeah.
But it is just the letter D.
Oh. Okay.
So it's not like D short for
You
Dorothy
know, I've always thought that the Lord and Savior was genderless.
Yeah.
Was beyond gender.
They.
So D, thank you so much. You are our Lord and Savior.
Yeah.
Forever may you reign until someone dethrones you. and peace be upon you.
And if you'd like to join D or any of our other patrons at whatever level you'd like to support the show, you can do so by going to our website, thankgodimatheist.com, and clicking on the support tab. Follow the links to whichever option you like, and then you're part of this whole thing.
We need your support. We can't do this without you guys. So really, if you've been thinking about doing it and you just haven't had the gumption yet, gumption up, baby. We need it. All right.
Well, thanks, guys. Dan.
Yes.
So yeah, there was this massacre, shooting, horror, terrorist attack in Sri Lanka.
Not shooting, bombs. And it was a coordinated attack in multiple places, 8 explosions. And it's horrific. And it was specifically targeting Christian targets.
Yeah.
It was on Easter Sunday, so there were lots of worshipers there. Although, what's so funny, man, so here's the thing. Here's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about my reaction to this. The first moment that I read about it.
Okay.
Because the way that I responded to this when I saw that Christians had been targeted was, oh, geez. Now the American Christians are all going to make so much hay about how they'll have that much more like ammunition for how put upon the Christians are.
Right.
And that's because there has been this big problem in the United States of the vast majority whining about being the put upon minority because sometimes in a lot of other countries, Christians are actually persecuted.
Right.
And boy, they love the persecution narrative so damn much. And it's been so annoying to me for these many years that my first response to a horrific attack wasn't, oh my God, I feel for the people, for the victims of this.
Right.
Of course, that was my second response. And of course, I have that feeling. But my first response, dick that I am, was, we're going to be hearing about this from the Christians. They're never going to shut up about it.
Yeah. And
I feel
we
gross.
won't.
I feel gross about that.
Well, you probably should.
Yeah. I just think, I think what it points to is the poison of feeling like you have an enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have, like the poison of only thinking about a group in a certain way. Because our show, our show's the nice one of the secular themed current events shows.
Mm-hmm.
We're the nice guys. Like
Right.
we're not scathing. We're not angry. We're just sort of, we like to have fun. We
Right.
like to keep it light.
Right.
But man, even with that, it's clear to me that in my brain, these people have become this monolithic group of whiny assholes, meaning the Christians.
And they are.
No, there's plenty of non-whiny assholes that are
Right,
Christians.
but the ones that we're always talking about,
Right.
the ones that are bringing forward the all the crap
Right.
that we talk about on this show, right?
Right.
That's who they are. They are whiny assholes.
Yeah, they can certainly be. I just think, it doesn't do me any good to think of them only in that way.
Right.
To dehumanize them down to a group of, like, sort of caricatures.
Right.
Which, there's like 8 or 10 of the main that are perpetrating all of this, this whiny assholery.
Mm-hmm.
And then it gets repeated on sort of a lower grade level a little bit. But most people are just people, you know what I mean? Most people have their foibles and they have their good parts. And for me to reduce the entire group,
All of Christianity.
yeah, or at least all of American Christianity,
Mm-hmm.
to that way of thinking, I don't think that that's helpful. I don't think that that's good. And I think it's dehumanizing. And, I used the word humanist earlier in the show.
Right.
I think if we're going to even hint at being humanist, we got to acknowledge the humanity of all these people.
Right.
So, I just thought, I think that these moments, these, tragic moments are good moments to reflect. And I thought that was an important reflection for me to catch myself doing that and not just let it slide by and just go, oh, well, that was weird. That's funny that I thought that.
Strange response.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not pleased about it. And I think I think one of the things that I want to do, I don't know, what are your thoughts about that? Do you find yourself responding similarly when you hear something like this?
I have never responded that way, Dan. And I'm really disappointed that you did.
Good.
No, of course, I mean that specifically for this one that was not my reaction.
Right.
But yeah, the us against them, the mentality, and I think for less extreme examples, there can be obviously moments of even Schadenfreude.
Sure, absolutely.
Right? Where you're like, oh, they're getting what's due to them.
Yep.
Right. And I've had not for mass bombings.
No.
But like I've absolutely had that kind of reaction before, and that's an ugly reaction.
Yeah, when Kim Davis loses her job, we all sort of cheer a little bit. And
that's delightful.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And should it be delightful? Should it be something that I mean, obviously we know that the line is well on the other side of the bombing thing.
Right. Yeah.
Or well on this side of the bombing thing. But like,
but where is it?
Where is it?
And that's
where do you stop laughing at their misfortune?
Right.
Right. Where do you stop thinking about how their misfortune might come around and affect you?
Well, and also not just how will it affect me, but like, who am I being in this fight? Because look, we are frustrated. We just played a clip of two conservative assholes reveling in straw man arguments that boil down to the removal of our freedom in this country.
Right.
They are literally trying to make us second-class citizens. Right. That is a stated goal.
Well, I mean, we kind of already are and have been.
Yeah.
In certain ways. And
so, like, yeah, we have every right to be pissed off about that, to be frustrated, to be angry, all of those things. But does it help us to dehumanize them, or does it just make us sort of worse people? I think, and I also wonder about how effectively we are fighting the battle if we don't acknowledge their humanity.
Right.
Because basically we're modeling for them the thing that they're doing about us. Right. Like they started this war, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. They launched the first attacks. They're the ones that are trying to deprive us of rights.
Right.
And we just want to be able to play in the same sandbox.
Right.
But I think that, I think we've seen time and time again that the most effective ways to convince people to come to our side,
right,
are when, it's like using again the sort of the struggle for gay rights as a model. What convinces people isn't, you need to be fighting for your rights. So like chanting in the street's important, but that's not what convinces somebody at home. What convinces somebody at home is finding out that they have somebody that they love who's gay.
Yeah, and the gay rights movement did a great job of humanizing the gay rights struggle, and had a built-in mechanism for it too, which is it happens, across, homosexuality occurs across the population.
Yeah,
right. And so the chances that somebody is really, really good, and so lucky us, I guess. No, I was actually thinking though, Dan, like as far as like having your heart in the right place and not looking just for the fight, right?
But anyway, look, I guess we don't need to tell other people how to atheist better.
No,
but just sort of in our own explorations, that's kind of where we've landed, and it feels better to me than the negativity and the dehumanizing of the people who are trying to be dicks.
Well, yeah, and as we see our movement growing, right, and our numbers are just starting to explode in this country.
Yeah, that's one thing we have over the gay rights movement.
It's
gay people. The number of gay people stays about the same as percentage to population. We are definitely not doing that.
I don't know if you, Dan.
Yeah,
I mean there is, that whole
the gay agenda thing.
Well, like we do seek out and try to convert people.
Well, I wish you good luck. That's fine. I hear that there are some worms that can be helpful. So
some anal worms.
Try and get some worms in some folks. But in the meantime, our numbers as atheists and secular people, there's no limit.
Yeah.
Well, 100% would be a limit, but like we're growing fast, and we have long and have well surpassed gay numbers.
How dare you?
Yeah.
How
take
dare
that,
you, Dan?
So. The fight will be ours eventually, so we might as well not be dicks along the way. Don't want to be sore winners. Anyway, I know some of you have things to say about this conversation. Please feel free to say them to us. Write into us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or call and leave a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Yep, go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist. Click on that like button.
And while there, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge. Request to join. It's a closed group, but we will let you in.
Yep, we also got the Twitter, we got the Reddit @TGIAtheist. And speaking of all of the social media, we need to thank some folks. Thanks so much to Mackenzie for all of her hard work on the Facebook page. Thanks to Danny and Amy for moderating the Members Only Lounge.
And a big thanks goes out to the Red Rock Hot Club and Gordon Johnston for the use of their music.
And thank all of you, dear listeners, for tuning in.
Bye-bye.